Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sherry and today we'll be looking into the case of Jenniferpan. Jenniferpan was born on June 17, 1986 to mother Big Pan and Han Pan. Her parents were both immigrants from Vietnam who came into Canada in 1979. They later married in Toronto and had two children, Jennifer and second-born Felix. The Pan family worked at an auto parts manufacturer in Aurora, Ontario, Han working as a tool and die maker while Big made car parts. The couple persistently worked extremely hard for their money to ensure that their children had an upbringing and opportunities they themselves missed out on. They led a thrifty lifestyle, and by 2004 they were financially stable enough to buy a large house in Markham. Big drove a Lexus and Han drove a Mercedes. Most parents want their best for their children, but in the case of Jennifer's parents, the expectations were leaning more towards the extreme end. Jennifer was made to take piano lessons at the age of 4, as well as figure skating classes where she trained most days during the week. She had hopes of being an Olympic figure skating champion until she tore a ligament in her knee. She also played the flute in her high school band. Her parents were considered to be tiger parents. This style of parenting is mostly common within the Asian community and is described as a strict, authoritative method of parenting that is meant to raise high-achieving children. This often means no sleepovers, no parties, and other leisure activities to focus on their studies. In high school, Jennifer was not allowed to have a boyfriend or take part in school dances, and her parents would pick her up after school and strictly monitor her extracurricular activities. Even while attending university, she wasn't allowed to attend any parties. Her grades throughout high school were somewhat average, and so as not to disappoint her parents, she would forge report cards multiple times, deceiving her parents into thinking she earned straight A's. When Jennifer failed calculus class in grade 12, Ryerson University declined her early admission. As she could not bear to be perceived as a failure, she began to lie to everyone, including her parents, and pretended she was attending the university. She was really committed to this lie, as she even bought textbooks and watched videos on pharmacology in order to write notes that she could show to her parents. She would then sit in cafes, became a piano instructor, and also worked in a restaurant to earn money. In order to maintain the lie, Jennifer told her parents she had won full scholarships, later falsely claiming that she had accepted an offer into the pharmacology program at the University of Toronto. Jennifer also requested permission from her parents to stay near the campus with a friend throughout the week for easier commute. When she was actually staying with her boyfriend Daniel, whom she had met in high school, he worked at a Boston pizza restaurant and was also an active marijuana dealer. While pretending to complete her degree at the University of Toronto, Jennifer told her parents that she had started working as a volunteer at the hospital for sick children. Han and Big soon became suspicious when they realized she did not have a hospital ID badge or even a uniform. So on one occasion, Big followed her daughter to work, and that's when she discovered her deception. Her father was very bitter and wanted to throw Jennifer out of the house, but her mother persuaded him to allow her to stay, as they later found out she had not even completed high school due to failing calculus. Jennifer eventually began working to finish high school completely and was encouraged by her parents to apply to university. However, she wasn't allowed to see Daniel or leave the house except to her piano teaching job, but Jennifer always found a way to communicate and meet up with Daniel. After a while though, Daniel had grown tired of the relationship because Jennifer was so restricted, still living at home, and would only meet him in secret. He broke up with her and soon began dating someone else. After Jennifer learned about this, she would tell Daniel that a group of men entered her home and assaulted her, and that she had received a bullet in the mail. She claimed to suspect Daniel's new girlfriend of the events. In spring 2010, Jennifer was in contact with Andrew, a high school friend who she claims had boasted in their high school years about robbing people at knife point. Andrew introduced her to Ricardo Duncan, who Jennifer claimed she had given $1,500 to kill her father in the parking lot at his workplace. Duncan denied this, saying he refused her request. At this time, Jennifer and Daniel were back in contact, and according to the police, they came up with a plan to hire a professional hitman for $10,000 to kill her parents. That money would come from the inheritance she would get after the murder, which was calculated to be $500,000. They had also planned to move in together. Daniel connected Jennifer with a man named Roy Crawford and gave her a SIM card and an iPhone so that she could contact Crawford without using her usual phone. Crawford contacted another man named Eric Sean, who in turn contacted David. On November 8, 2010, Jennifer unlocked the front door of the family home when she went to bed, then spoke by phone to David, texting him in quote, VIP access. In CCTV camera, Jennifer switched the light in her bedroom on and off, and that was their cue to enter the house. Shortly afterwards, David and two other people who he had independently contacted entered the home through the unlocked front door, all carrying guns. They demanded all the money in the house and ransacked the main bedroom. The three men took Beck and Han to the basement, where they covered them in blankets. Han continuously pleaded for them to not harm his daughter. Then boom, 5 shots were fired at them. The three men then took cash that was in the house, including $2,000 from Jennifer, and left. She later called 911 to report the incident.
What's your name?
My name is Jennifer.
Someone just broke in?
Someone broke in and I heard shots like pops. I don't know what's happening. I'm tied upstairs.
Does it sound like gunshots?
I don't know what a gunshot sounds like. I just heard a pop. I'm okay. My dad just went outside screaming.
Do you think your mom is downstairs too?
I don't hear her anymore.
The evening after the murder, Jennifer had her first interview with the police when everyone thought it was a robbery gone wrong. This version, however, did not sit well with investigators because so many valuable items, including TVs, money, and even car keys, were left out in the open.
The last things I heard them say was, you lied to us, you lied to us. And then I heard 2 pops. My mom screamed. I yelled out for her, and a couple more pops.
Take your time. Take your time.
And I think I heard my mom say or moan or something, and then they did one more before they left, and then one of the guys said, we have to go now, it's been too long.
So that you're looking away from me. You're looking exactly like, now here is where the banister is. Put your hands back behind your back, exactly how you remember they were, okay? Now, are you restrained from movement? How far can you move your hands from the banister?
They tied my upper arm
Yes?
around the banister,
Yes?
but my hands were bound together.
So your hands bound together, and this is the arm that's the strings wrapped around against the banister?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now how can you get to the phone? And how do you make the phone call? 911?
Mm-hmm.
And do you talk down like that?
Yes, I'm yelling at the phone like this.
And how can you hear?
I turned the volume on max.
Yes? So that's exactly the way that you're talking to her against the railing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good.
Jennifer was arrested on November 22, 2010 during her interview at the Markham police station. During that interview, she admitted that she had hired the killers, but claimed she had hired them to kill her and not her parents. When Jennifer's father came to, his version of events contradicted that of his daughters. He said when the gunmen came into the house, they blindfolded and tied him and his wife, but they did not lay a finger on his daughter. In fact, he reported noticing the calm aura and the relaxed conversation Jennifer had with the gunmen throughout the attack. David was arrested in New York on April 14, 2011, Katy the next day. Daniel was arrested on April 26, 2011 at his place of employment. Crawford was the final suspect to be arrested, entering custody on May 4, 2011. The trial of Jennifer and her accomplices began on March 19, 2014 and continued for 10 months. All pleaded not guilty to the charges of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder. Jennifer, Daniel, David, and Crawford were all convicted on December 13, 2014, and each received a life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. In December 2015, Katy received an 18-year sentence after pleading guilty to conspiring to commit murder with eligibility for parole after 9 years. Jenniferpan was sentenced to life with no chance of parole for 25 years for the murder of her mother and attempted murder of her father. Big Pan's funeral was held on November 15, 2010. Unfortunately, Han Pan could not attend due to his injuries. What happened was quite unfortunate, and the blame game could go on forever. However, an innocent life was snatched, another traumatized, all because the rules were too tough to handle. For more videos, like and subscribe, and until next time, please take care of yourself, and I love you.